if anyone can, this is your deal presentation session. No one listens to me. Use your outside voice, Bob. Yeah, use your outside voice.
Okay, this is our deal presentation session where we present deals we have for sale, and tell us what you want, and success stories. We love success stories. They don't have deals, they want to present. Come on up, Brandon.
Good evening. Most of y'all probably know me already. My name is Crandon. I think my voice is projecting there in the back, right? Y'all can hear me? Cool. So we do have a house in Spring Valley West. It's 2,900 square feet. 5 bedrooms, 3 baths. Upstairs can be turned into a master suite, so that'd make it a 4 bedroom, 3 bath. It's got a pool in the back, saltwater pool, and it's got a garage plus. It's like a garage and a half, so a car and a half garage. Actually gives you a workshop. We're asking $120 for that. ARV conservatives around 190, 200, somewhere around there. There have been several people in here who have already walked through the house. Like I said, we have it under contract. So if y'all have any questions, most of you already know me, but if you don't, shoot me a text or email. You have a wallet? Came out without my wallet, unfortunately. Probably not a good idea. But my number is 803-216-1608. I did already post that actually house in the Midlands Master REIA. The address is 237 Great North Road. Like I said, that's in Spring Valley West. And me and my partner, we actually just closed 2 houses today in Chapin. And we have time because we're actually purchasing the Great North House on Monday. So you guys will be working directly with the owners of the house. So if y'all like it, you want to see it, I have a lockbox on there. You can go in, walk in, see it whenever you want. Just let us know. We'll shoot you the code so you can go in, get your contractors in there, take a look. We're not really in a rush to do this. So to speak. Yes.
Can you repeat the address?
The address is 237 Great North Road. That's all we got.
All right, anyone else have any deals they'd like to present? Tell us what you're looking for, or maybe give us a success story.
What's up, guys? My name's Travis. I got 3 deals that I got at the moment. We got a couple others that we're working on, but these are the 3 I got today. Yeah. Make sure I got it turned the right way. 2 of these houses are on Irvin Street in Columbia. Columbia, obviously, off 2 Notch Road near Benedict. This is the first one. Is that it? This one's a little rough. It's a let's see if I can. I'm sorry, guys. I did that last time too. Yeah, on the inside, my bad. I got away. Inside is pretty much gutted out. It's a 1 bedroom, 2 bath, but it's completely empty on the inside. We're asking $11,000 on this one. Pretty much you come in, do your floor, walls, get it back in shape. It has new windows in it already. And I have more pictures and a video walkthrough if anybody is interested. Crandon taught me that you always want to get videos, pictures. So I got plenty of pictures. Yeah, this is the Yeah, I got all the information, comps, numbers on it, so if anybody is interested. This is the next one I got, also on that same street, Urban Street. This one's bigger. It's 4 bedrooms, 2 full baths. Technically has a 5th bonus room or a den, nice back porch. So again, this one we were asking $22,500 on this one. Both sellers are both highly motivated, so we'll entertain all offers, willing to work with you guys. However, if anybody's interested, this is also on Urban Street, kind of off 2 Notch, by Benedict. This one here is out in Hopkins. I actually like this house a lot. This is a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath out in Hopkins. We were asking $65,000 for this one. It's real clean. It was a rental. The owner now lives in Savannah, so it's tough for him to come up. There's a little bit of vandalism, a couple broken windows. He replaced most of the windows and they're all new, and then of course vandals came in and trashed it. So I reached out to him on a postcard, called me back, so we were able to get this one. It's real clean. I really like this house. Outside needs some work. Let's see, I got a picture of, I think of the kitchen, but again, I got video walkthroughs of all these. I know these probably aren't the best to see. The kitchen, in my opinion, is in real good shape. Throw some new flooring down. The floor is already good. Throw some new flooring down, paint, and this thing's ready to go. So again, if y'all are interested, my name's Travis. Got that. If anybody wants my contact information, happy to work with you guys, show you any pictures, videos, whatever you need. So, let me know. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay, anyone else with deals?
Sure, I'll go. Give me a moment to set up. Fingers are crossed, the demo gods are with me today.
All right, let me do this. Do you need the clicker?
Sure.
Hey Jacques, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Okay.
You got a missed call from me, just ignore it when you see it.
I'll call you back at 3 a.m.
Yeah, it's
There it is, the F drive.
This one here, F.
Yeah. Lord.
Oh, crap. Wrong one.
Right on the side there.
Oh, okay, sorry about that.
Short name.
This one?
Yep.
Okay. And you need the clicker?
Hey, can't hurt.
Okay, let me,
Or I gotta stand here, it's fine. Hi everybody, my name is David Thompson. If you don't know me, I've been here for a couple months now. I started my real estate journey in May when we bought our house up in the Lake Carolina area. We bought our first actual flip late June, and this month we're gonna end up closing on our 6th house. So we've picked up pretty quickly. We're gonna see. We're not making money yet, so we're gonna see how that goes. But
it's the experience, man.
yeah, it's got a lot of experience. So what I got today is essentially our model is we try to buy whatever we can afford, whatever we can get on good terms. Anything we can't, we try to find somebody who can. And that's what we have in mind here. This is 1846 Nearview Avenue, and this is over by the Fort Jackson area. It's 1,200 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 1.5 bath. They're connected in the middle. Just seems to be something they really liked back then. Now, we've got a whole bunch of amenities nearby. It's all sorts of shopping. It's surrounded by shopping. The Sesquicentennial State Park is only like 4 or 5 miles away. If you want to go hiking, that's a great place to do it, or if your tenants want to, of course. Let's see. Lots of great pros. It has a huge fenced yard. In fact, it has 2 fences. One for the front yard, and then you go through that one to get to the inner ring, you get into the backyard. It's fenced all over the place. Big kitchen for the age. It also has a shop in the back, which With a little bit of TLC, it's going to end up real nice. It doesn't have any air conditioning at the moment, but it can easily be made to do so. You just cut a hole in the wall and pop a wall unit in there, and you've got a great shop in the back. They had it initially rentable at $950. Now, the tenant wasn't so great to it. They like kicked a hole in the wall. They didn't really clean up after themselves in the bathroom, which is unfortunate, and you know that's what drives the lady to want to sell. These are some interesting features we have. It's got this big space on the left that's actually unaccounted for square footage, like 100 or 200 square feet that you can just easily run just HVAC to it, and then you've got like a couple 100 or 200 extra square feet. It's also, you could expand right next to it and just create a large space right next to it. Got a patio that extends all the way to the back. I did not get a good picture of the backyard here. You can find a lot more online, and I'll show you that in a minute. This extends quite a ways back. And then the kitchen, as you can see, it's pretty big. And I mean, I'd live there. My wife would be perfectly fine with that kitchen. That's high praise. So, as I mentioned, we got some drywall repair needed. The bathroom floor needs to be replaced. I did the stomp test. It doesn't seem to be soft. It just, the laminate's all messed up. It needs to go. Some soffit damage on the external shop. You can see that. It's not even necessary to do half this stuff in order to get it rented out, but the more you spend on it, the more you can get out of it, so keep that in mind. And there is some old water damage in the kitchen. Now here we got some examples of that. You can see, I hope you can see, the picture on the left here, we've got some nasty old laminate that just needs torn out. I would also personally replace the vanity. You can get a brand new one for like a couple $100 at Lowe's if you want to, or your choice of vanity supply store. We've got just one spot where someone got angry, and they just kicked a hole in the wall. That's it. Once that's gone, that whole room is nice. You can just repaint the room if you want to. You've got a perfectly livable space. Water damage over the kitchen, just the kitchen that we've seen. And I went into the attic myself. I could not find a source of water in the attic coming down. So I believe it's in perfectly good shape. That being said, buyer beware. You always do your own inspections. And we've got soffit damage on the roof of the shop here. So that needs to be repaired up. It needs a good power washing, of course, as well. And there's insulation just hanging down in there. So if you can get out there for like $60 or something like that, just throw up some insulation and you've got a great space. Take pictures. We have provided with you a link to a folder that includes videos and pictures of this property. So if any of you guys care to see more, there it is right there. There's our contact information, and if you need anything else about the property, feel free to contact us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, David. Okay.
You want to go first? Hi everyone, I'm Donna Adams, Palmetto Real Estate Group. I want to thank Bob here for all the awesome work he does. Appreciate that. Bob just let me know that he heard me on the radio. Sometimes I fill in for Frankie Griffin on his radio show, Success Real Estate or Realty Success Show. I don't even know the name, but I get to fill in. 100.7 The Point. So if you ever hear me, this is me, right?
That's every Friday morning at 9 a.m.
And I don't fill in every morning, only when Frankie has like some family stuff or wants a day off. So right now I have this property right here. This is in, can you see that? Yeah. So this is over in Sally, 362 Jerusalem Branch Road. I have flyers for anyone who wants it. It is owner finance. It's $185,000. The owner would like $10,000 to $15,000 down. If you put $10,000 down, he's willing to work with you on the other $5,000, so that's really great. This particular spot is a mobile home, but what you can see here, so here's the home, and here's like the space. And so what this has on it is 6 acres, and it has, it used to have 6 mobile homes on it. There are at least 3 septic tanks on it that we know of, and he could probably, I know that there was a 4th one, he filled it in though. When the 6 mobile homes were on the property, there were 2 of them per septic tank, I think. There was a well. It was dry when he moved when he moved there, so he dug a new well. So the new well, is about 4 years old. Drilled down to 200 feet deep, so he's assuming that it's never going to go dry at that point, because the first well was, I don't know, 10 feet or something, super high. And so it's really great. Just to rent the mobile home, I mean, the mobile home would easily rent for $1,000 a month. $900 easy, $1,000 probably, I'll say that. And of course, lots of room to build. So that's this one. I have 2 more that are going to be coming up. Actually, we've got, let's see, so 2 more coming up. One is potentially a rent-to-own with a mobile home that has on 7 acres with 2 septic tanks. So again, room to grow and build. There's another house that we have over in Sally. I want to say maybe the other house is also in Sally. 4-bedroom, 2-bath. And I'll have more details about that probably next week. But likely also, again, a rent-to-own. What else do I have? Oh yeah, and then I want to say thank you to David and his wife Shayla. Super wonderful. So this is a really great. Yeah, thank you. We actually have 3 deals closing this month. 3 option deals closing this month. So next week they're going to be the proud owners of 3 cash flow properties. Yeah, pretty wonderful here in Columbia. And they we were in touch about another property that went by and looked at today, and this is over in Batesburg, and the address is 361 Line Street. I don't have any of this information. I went by and looked at it. There's some damage to it. The outside of the house actually looks pretty good. The inside of the house, the ceiling's caving through, the floor's caving through, and it's either a demo or it's a reno. And it's kind of your kind of feel on it. So if you're interested in knowing more about that, we had the option. We were looking to originally, list it at $37,500, but after seeing the work that's gone into it, that needs to go into it, we're going to have to renegotiate with the seller of the house for a lower number. So that being said, I don't really have that number right now. But we're willing to take any, like if you guys want to go by and take a look at the house, we can make sure the house is open and available for you. And I kind of want to say just, the highest and best will likely get the house. So that's at 369 Line Street. And other than that, I want to let you know that I closed 2 options last month. I've got 4 closing this month, and a lot of it is because of the dialogue here. Flyer? There you go, sure. Anyone else?
Does that have any mobile homes on it or not?
This one here?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one has 1. Yes, and it's I want to say 1991, but when they moved in 4 years ago, they moved it there 4 years ago. Thank you. And they put in new roof, new windows, new decks, new doors, all sorts of new stuff. And like I said, a new well, and they're really taking care of it.
And that's in Aiken County?
That is in Aiken County, yes. So we're happy.
Thank you, Don.
All right, it's picture time.
Does anyone want a card?
Yes.
All right, hello everyone. My name is Brad. I got a couple of properties for today. This one's in Casey at 1132 Charlotte Street. It's 29033 zip code. It's a 2-bed or 3-bed, 1-bath at 175 or 875 square feet. Got the car report. It sits on about 0.25, 0.3 acres. Close to a quarter, something like that. Here's the backyard. It has a pear tree in the back. So if you want to, if it's not dried out, now I'll pick it up. This is the kitchen. The owner did a good bit of rehab in it. Did the floors, some cabinets. I believe the countertops, maybe not. It's the living room. Yes, that's a fridge. He said he's gonna remove it once it's sold and all that, so you're not worried about that. Put new carpet in the hallway and in this bedroom right here. It's renting for about 800 to 900. Been getting a lot of hits on it, so someone wants it. I could possibly have some tenants lined up if you guys are interested in doing that. If you're interested. Here's the second room. All the rooms about the same size. Pretty clean, move-in ready, HVAC, everything's working, plumbing. It's ready to go. Asking price on it is 60. So, or best offer. We're gonna start off at 60. And here's the 1 bathroom right here. ARV is about 80. If you want to take that route, but there's tenants wanting to get in for about $5,000 to $15,000 down. I've been keeping in contact with them just in case I run into someone who wants the property. I already have them lined up. That's the case, and that's it for that one.
What was the address of that again?
It's 1132 Charlotte Street.
Charlotte Street?
In Casey. Charlotte Street, yep.
Is that in your district?
Councilman?
It's Casey.
And then
You pay attention so everybody knows the Pow, right? I follow him around. Just yell, Councilman, wait up! Everybody knows it's important.
all right. Here's the second property that I just locked up on the contract. It's on Hibiscus, close to downtown. It's a 2-bed, 2-bath at 1,086 square feet. Sits on about 0.13 or like 0.2 acres.
City.
What's that?
So just some land.
Something around
Yeah, it's cool.
0.15. A little under a quarter, let's put it like that.
It does come with some land.
Definitely sitting on something. It's on the septic, but city water. There's the backyard, back porch.
Beautiful greenery.
Hot water heater is pumping. HVAC works. So here's the inside. That's a projector. I believe this guy is leaving that. That's nice. He's some kind of like guy that he got speakers and all in the wall and everything. He just leaving. It's ready to go. Asking on this is 70. ARV is 160. It's on Hibiscus, like I said. This one right here would be personal viewing, so if you want to view this one, just email me. I got cards, phone number, email, everything like that.
What's the asking?
70K. ARV 160. Rehab is about 30, 40. My opinion. So you still got to do your own due diligence if you're interested. This is a sunroom. He said something about they screened it up in, upstairs. This is the kitchen right here. Tile, everything, cabinets. It looks salvageable. I think that if you put about 10K in it, it's ready to go, ready to rent at right around 8 to 1,000. There's one right around the corner rent for about $945. So different routes you can take with this one. Quick clean, maybe get some floors in. It does need a roof though. Washer and dryer hookup. This is the first bedroom. It has a half bath in it. I want to show you here's the half bath right here. Stand-up shower. Closet, whatever. Like I said, it's gonna need a roof. This leads to the back porch. Got some more of the ceiling. Second bedroom. This is a beautiful bathroom with this gorgeous orange painting. It is a full, it has a tub, shower, everything, all that good stuff. And here's the back porch. I did take a couple of pictures up on the crawl space, so it's looking good as far as foundation goes up on here. And that's it.
Contact information.
Yeah, it's right here. I have some cards if you guys want to.
We just have a little public service announcement here.
Yeah, I don't have anything available, but I don't know if you can see that, but just a lawn care company that actually recently used. I'm just basically resharing this information. Helen Barker with Love of Lawns. She actually shared in the REIA meeting about 6 months ago, and so I wrote her information down, gave her a call, had her come out to one of my rentals, and she just turned out to be fantastic, just easy to work with, great prices, very responsive. And I just volunteered to do this for her and said, look, you know, y'all, you've done such an excellent job, and having people, you know, in your pocket as far as, you know, contractors, vendors, and landscapers, and I just, you know, I'm all about having quality folks that actually do a good job and actually will come out and work with you. And so anyway, I got some cards. If anyone is interested in having a good landscaper, just raise your hand. I'll come around and get you. Helen Barker, Love of Lawns is the name of the company. Love of Lawns.
If you go to our website, MidlandsREIA.com, she's under the business directory section also. I think she's directing now.
Anyone else?
She does a great job.
Oh, man. I got plenty of cards.
Hello everyone. I'm Dunbury Powell. I'm with Fox Home. You can see this one. And this property is right at downtown. It's 1420 Oak Street. It's Oak Street is just right by of Taylor. It's close to the Allen University. The property is in the state of a duplex right now, but the city has zoned it for a single family property. So this could be your fix and flip and you put it back in the market for a family, or you could have it as an Airbnb. It's 2,500 square feet property. Upstairs we have 3 bedrooms and a bathroom. Downstairs where we have the partition as a duplex. It has 2 living areas, like a dining area, 2 other extra rooms, 2 kitchen areas. The city doesn't have it as a historical property, So you could pretty much do whatever you want with this property. You could tear it down and start from scratch if you want to, or you could do an extensive reno if you please. Right now, the city also said if you want to reno, you can put like a front porch in the property if you decide to reno. It needs an extensive amount of work, some roofing. Part of the rear room at the back has caved in because of water damage, pretty much new kitchen. Some of the floorings are in decent shape and you just kind of need to get them finished up, but some part of the house needs new flooring, some window replacement and some door replacement are needed for this home. If you need more information about the home, that's my contact information. You could contact me. And if you want to see the property, you could pretty much walk to the property at any time. It has an open back rear door. So you're welcome to see and shoot me an email or call me and we could discuss more about the property. Right now we're asking for $55,000. ARV is estimated at $200,000. Thank you.
What kind of siding is it?
It has yeah, some of it is vinyl. I think some part of it is like wood. Yeah. I'm not sure, but I can check that in.
Okay, is that it? Does anyone else have? Come on up, Stacy.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Stacy Pinckney. This is Valerie Bartley. Come up. She should probably be up here further than me because y'all, Valerie's on a roll. I'm always praising her efforts. We've teamed up on a couple of deals. She's been hitting Orangeburg really heavy. That's where I'm from originally, if you all don't know, and I stayed away from it for a while, but Valerie's been finding some good stuff, and we had a triplex that just sold for full asking, all cash within a week. Being posted. I normally don't talk about deals we hadn't closed yet, but the next real meeting it'll be too far away. So we scheduled to close on the 22nd, had inspections today, so hopefully that works out. But we have another one that she found. Valerie's a pastor, for those who don't know, and she is just a people person. She knows everybody, and that is generating leads. So she's not spending any money on these leads, and I'm just there to help her see them through. So real quick, we got this. Oh, well, I got flyers. Oh, I'm in the way. Sorry.
Lay it down right there.
But we have this duplex under contract. I know y'all don't buy 29203, but it's fully occupied, already cash flowing, ready to go. We're asking $85 for it. Current rents are $550 per unit, so that's $1,100 a month. And estimated ROI is about 15%. And I did the rent-a-meter median and average. And that's our contact information. There are 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath townhomes, and like I said, they're currently occupied, so repairs will be up to you. But if anybody wants more information, we have flyers, and you can talk to myself or Valerie.
Okay, is there anyone else who has a deal they'd like to present?
Can I do a success story?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so we have several success stories. First off, 2-3 months ago, I presented 3 properties. The land is sold. The double wide is sold. I still have 2 others that are still up, but those, I've got 3 closings this month, and one of them was today. Closing today was a group effort. The property was found during the Hidden Markets 3-day workshop. The contract Tony, we found the owner, and Tony gave him an offer, which the owner wanted to look at for a while. So long that the contract expired. But our guy Jim and Tricia were very persistent, respectfully and politely persistent with the judge. They kept in communication with him, and they eventually got a new contract with him. So then we went into the house, and Eddie, wherever Eddie is.
He's gone.
Okay. Eddie gave us a home inspection, or he did a home inspection for us. Spent 2 hours on 100-degree weather in a wonderful 2-story house. And because of the work that Eddie did, we were able to counter our original offer from 86 down to 34.
Wow.
And we're like, oh, he's not going to take it. And I'm like, try it, because we can't pay more than that. His realtor, who had rewritten Tony's contract because he didn't like Tony's contract, told him, after looking at the house, you need to take this offer. So he took the offer. We got his signed contract Wednesday morning. Wednesday afternoon, we showed it to JD. JD said, I like this, but my contractor needs to see it. The next morning, his contractor saw it. That evening, he sent us a contract, and it was sold. So we just closed today. So the lesson here is you have to be persistent. You have to keep trying. If somebody doesn't call you back, don't just assume they don't want to. Wait until they tell you, stop calling me. You've got to keep calling. You've got to be persistent and keep going. Also, don't be afraid of lowballing them. They may say, this is ridiculous, and slam the door in your face. That's one step closer to the next yes. So you just got to keep going and keep trying. The other thing is partner with somebody who's experienced. Partner with people. It's a lot easier to do it when you've got partners. So just keep at it. Keep at it. Don't give up.
Is that it for the deals, or do we have any more?
I do have one last thing I'd like to mention about the deal I had. I don't need to step up. We have an inspection, an open house for 1846 Nearview Avenue, scheduled for Saturday from noon to 1:30 p.m., hosted by this guy right here, who's the partner on the deal, Mr. Nigel Witherspoon. And he's the guy who made all this possible for this one. He did all the smooth talking, so I want to thank him for that, because we pulled it off because of him.
Okay, one thing I'd like to make a point is Dean Louise has been running a focus group for the hidden market stuff. Now, we're going to start a focus group tonight based on notes, based on our speakers' content, if you will. But if you're new and you're having a hard time getting going, maybe you should form a focus group, because you're holding each other accountable and stuff happens, okay? Anyway, it's okay. Let me just start now. I'm going to buzz through the intro, because this took a little longer than I thought. My apologies. Okay, this is not Amway, this is Midlands REIA. We're here for Amway, this ain't the place. But thank you all for coming. Okay, right now, please silence your phones, all right? There's a $5 penalty that goes into the oops jar over there. At the end of the year, it goes to charity. But if your phone goes off, you have to...
If your phone goes off, pay me after the speaker is done. I am not going to be rude and interrupt asking for your money while she's talking.
Yeah, by the way,
On your system, please bring me your card.
and embarrassingly enough, 10 of those dollars came from me. Okay, now photos and video may be captured here, mainly for posts to social media and whatnot. And anyway, is it okay if I record?
Do you want me to bring my presentation up now?
Well, no, I was gonna say, is it okay if I record the?
Oh, you can record, yes.
Okay, I just have to clear with the speaker first.
Okay.
I forgot to ask you. But anyway, liability disclosure. I don't see Rich Boland here, and I'm sure not an attorney or a financial planner or anything. I can only tell you, as can anyone else here, what they've personally experienced. They can't give you formal legal advice or financial advice, okay? So if you have any true legal or financial questions, seek qualified help, because technically speaking, you're not going to find it here, all right? Our goal, I keep on putting this slide up. Okay, the national success rate, I've heard from a number of national speakers, is the success rate for doing even single deals is only 3%. I'd like to think our group has more, all right, based on talking to people. Now, there are some, the HGTV gurus are coming into town, and they're trying to upsell you like these $25,000 and higher coaching courses. I'm a big fan of quality coaching. $25,000 is too darn much. I'm in a house right now in Lexington I got for $9,500. I can buy 2 of those houses for the cost of a coaching call, okay? So my point is this. Also, what they want to do is have you put on your credit cards, and if we're to pay attention that 97% of the people never even do a single deal, the HGTV guru got your money, and you're stuck with the debt. All right, so think twice about doing it. You can learn plenty here for relatively lower cost coaching and or courses or whatnot, okay, even free sometimes. And if you really want to buy a coaching program, like one of the expensive ones, I suggest you earn it or pretty darn close to earn it. Okay, put very little debt on your credit cards and whatnot, okay? Everyone get that? Okay, now our goal is by the end of this year to raise the success rate by at least, up to at least 20%, preferably 100% would be great, all right? Now, the low success rate, okay, I thought about it, and I've been talking to a couple people. The problem is it's easy to get into the business the way we do it, and it's also easy to get out of it, okay? So if you take a few simple steps, you know, put some discipline into it, I'm sure like Crandon and Jay, all right? Are you finding your deals just sitting around watching TV?
No.
Okay? You get the idea. It's easy to do, it's easy not to do, okay? Success isn't really that hard, just be disciplined and consistent, okay? Okay, any good club or association, I don't know if this is considered a good one or not, okay? It may not be for you or whatnot, but I suggest a good club or association offers an abundance of resources, provides great networking, gives the best training possible. Okay, we're only looking for the best training. We always seek to improve and adapt, any good club should, and also learning and teaching the best practices as they apply now. During the recession, you'll see we're going to shift in recession-resistant techniques, okay? Annual member benefits overview. You get discounts to national supply houses and vendors. Also discounts to Midlands REIA trainings if you're a member. Actually, as long as it's not an outside speakers training, our workshops have been free to members, all right? To non-members, we charge typically like a nominal fee or something. Access to members area with local cash bars, which I'm going to show you on one of these next slides, and closed guidance for deals. Don't get me wrong, I love it now. I'm like the Maytag repairman. Okay, I don't have a whole lot of people calling me whatnot, but and I'm sure a lot of our other members are willing to volunteer their expertise, like Andy's made it clear he's willing to volunteer his lending expertise. All right, but that's strictly only Midlands REIA here. It's not like a nationwide thing for obvious reasons. Okay, we're always open to suggestions how to improve. For example, next month we're going to have an investor panel. Several people suggested they want to see experienced local investors in the area. So we're going to put a panel of local, experienced, seasoned investors, and you can help them with questions. Okay, that's going to be next month though.
Come prepared with questions.
Yes, yeah, come prepared with questions. All right. Now, topics and subgroups. If there are topics or subgroups that you'd like to see us to do here, please let us know. If we can do that, we'll make it happen. Okay, now we are on social media. The major ones, YouTube, LinkedIn, etc. If nothing else, though, go to this one here. This is the Money Mastermind group on Facebook. All right. There's a lot of deal flipping going on in there. All right. It was actually meant to match local borrowers with local lenders. So if you need funding, just put in big letters up there, need funding, and then post the details of your deal there. Okay, you don't necessarily want to sell it, but just find private lenders. There's good money in the group here. They want to put money into play. Now, I keep on getting this question, how do I find cash buyers? We got our cash buyers list in the members area. You have to log in to see the roll down menu here. okay? If you don't log in, you're just gonna see a log in, log out, okay? But if you go there, you're gonna see over 50 cash buyers with their phone numbers. I ask you don't just randomly call them and say, hey, I just want to call and say, introduce myself. Have a deal to present to them, otherwise you're wasting both your times, okay? But when I get a deal, I just go down the list and just start calling, all right? Okay, yearly membership is $125 a year. We try to keep it affordable. And for a single, and $200 for a couple. Now we have something called REIA bucks. When you bring in, there are ways to earn them, basically credits towards things like memberships, workshops, and whatnot, okay? When you bring in first-time visit, that's 5 REIA bucks. If that person signs up as a member, that's another 20, something like that. If it's okay, I'm going to ask probably Dean Louise to come up with like maybe a schedule of what earns what kind of REIA bucks. Is that okay?
Sure.
So I mean, spring that on you. Anyway. Okay, a few announcements. Dean Louise, can you talk about this in the next slide?
Sure. This one was planned, folks. So we do our monthly book corner. And this month's is by John Shaw, Building Wealth One House at a Time. And it's an excellent book for giving you a starter on what the kinds of things you need to do and what to start with. Okay. As you know, a lot of our books are motivation, self-improvement, and I try to throw in real estate as much as I can, but I also want to make sure they're good books. And there's a lot of not so good books out there, so I selected. But this is a good book to get. All right, we also have the Palmetto Civitan Club. We have a fundraiser coming up August 20th. During the entire day, if you go into Bellacino's Pizza and Grinder on Sunset Boulevard and just mention when you're placing your order that you support Palmetto Civitan, 10% of your check will go towards our organization. It doesn't cost you anything extra. It's the same amount for you to pay, but it would benefit us, and we would greatly appreciate it. And they're open from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And if you have any questions about this, please please come see me after the meeting, or you can give me a call. I also have flyers on the back table and bookmarks for the Palmetto Civitan if you would like some more information. Okay?
The Palmetto Civitan Club serves to help children with special needs as well as promote autism research. Thanks. Okay, this is the Mike Green Technology Minute. All right, every month we try to bring up a website where it's either free, preferably free, maybe low cost, where hopefully it'll help you along the way. This time it's scopportunityzone.com. Does everyone know what an opportunity zone is? Okay. Did everyone know about this website already? Okay, this website outlines everywhere in South Carolina. Now every state has one. This happens to be specifically South Carolina. Okay, if you buy a property in an opportunity zone, you hold on to it for so many years, and you meet the criteria, it comes to a point where your capital gains after, I believe it's 10 years, are tax-free. Now, one possibility, and this is where the cool notes stuff comes in, is you can form an opportunity fund, where you're running that fund, where you can now keep in mind, this is with other people's money, so you got to be responsible with it. Okay, but you can actually form an opportunity fund to invest in these areas, all right? Okay, women in real estate. This is a relatively new group. Stacy, can you say something about it? Stacy?
Yes, this is for the ladies only. Beginners, experienced, everybody in between, as long as you're involved with real estate some kind of way, whether you're offering services, whether you want to learn. We welcome all women in the area to join us. We have it, we're going to have it consistently on the third Saturday of each month. It's usually from 5 to 7. We may change venues in the future, but right now it's at the Panera Bread over off of Hopperton on Bauer Parkway. The upcoming meeting is going to be discussing the wholesale process. I get a lot of people buying into those expensive systems that Bob was talking about, but they don't know what to do with all that information. So we're just going to kind of go through it step by step, how to start a deal all the way to the closing. So if you're interested, please join us this upcoming Saturday at 5 to 7 on the 10th. So hope to see you there.
Thanks, Stacey. Okay, now, I recently put Midlands REIA into something called Legal Shield. Last year, I probably spent more time in the court systems than I ever have since I went full-time into this business since 2005. Of course, I did the evictions. I'm a landlord. I was also in bankruptcy course. Bankruptcy court is a creditor trying to get money from somebody who declared bankruptcy. And additionally, I was sued from somebody in Aiken. I bought his house subject to about 10 years ago, and he sued me to get his house back. So I figured, I might need a little bit of legal help. $35 a month, I get business as well as personal legal matters covered by an attorney who's on call 24/7. Okay. For those who are interested, we have a luncheon this coming Tuesday at Flight Deck Restaurant at I'm sorry, it's not 7 p.m. It's 11:30. I'll show you. Okay, that's a mistake. I forgot to correct that. That's 11:30. Yeah, 11:30 in the morning. Yeah, that's a little late. Okay, Palmetto Real Estate Investors Network. I stumbled across this one. Actually, this is one that some of the seasoned investors go to. This might be also a good one to go to. They meet every third Tuesday of the month. So John Branham, a seasoned investor up in Waynesboro, meets there. Okay, he runs this one, and two of our lenders here. I don't know if Mark and Adrian Morgan, they go to that one regularly, as well as several others. So this is a good one. Columbia Real Estate Investors Association. This one meets every fourth Thursday of the month, and this is also a good REIA to go to. In fact, we have one of the co-organizers sitting here, Rick Renner. Rick, can you maybe tell a little about that?
We have newcomers and experienced people, and it's a lot of fun. Bob comes every once in a while and gives us some extra wisdom, as only he can. It's at the Grecian Gardens, and they have everything from baby showers to how to make a cake on the same night. So keep in mind when you come in, you're asking for the real estate meeting, because they'll put you back there in the bridal shower. So come visit us this month.
Thank you, Rick. And every last Friday of the month, there's a ladies' business networking lunch held by Deborah Weiner at East Bay Deli at 1 p.m., which is right across from Lexington Medical Center on 378. Okay. Now, if you didn't catch that with your cell phones, that's okay. What we do is we're now starting to keep everything up to date on our website calendars. If you have any questions as to when something meets, then please feel free to click the calendar link, calendar events, and it'll show you when and where they meet. Okay, we're trying to make it a little easier for you to network with each other. Okay, tonight's speaker. I first saw Donna Bauer speak back in 2006. It was at a, remember when Larry Goins had the Investor Paloozas? And her stuff really, really hit me. And said she really wants to teach this stuff. Okay. Now back then, of course, is 2006. But since then, she's been investing in notes and flipping notes for over a quarter of a century. Okay. One thing that really sticks out in my mind was my first private money loan. When I closed out in 2007 on a property in Aiken, Donna stayed up, I believe it might have been a little bit past midnight, helping me close that out. What national guru does that? Okay, so, but also, as I mentioned, we're gonna start a focus group based on Donna's content. Okay, because I have a strong belief in Donna's stuff, and I use it regularly. I still use it to lend today. If we could, Donna came down from Ohio, and I'm sure it might be a little chillier than here, so please let's give a warm Midlands welcome to Donna.
Thank you so much.
Do you need the mic?
I think I'd better, just so I don't strain my voice. And you know what else I am going to need is a bar stool. I just had a knee replacement in June, and I'm pushing the envelope to be standing up.
Will the chair be over here?
If, a bar stool would be better, otherwise I'll just try to stand.
They wouldn't give one.
They might, I think there is one out there. I think they have some there. And here's my presentation. It should be one of the top files, not folders, but files. Okay, thank you. Yep. Set here.
Oh, thank you, Andy. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you very much. This is an awesome group. I gotta tell you, I can't believe all of the different get-togethers and focus groups and all those things. I mean, you guys are really pretty amazing, and you're very lucky to have such an organization, because I travel all over and I see all kinds of groups. And I gotta tell you, this is one of the best I've seen. Right here. That should do us. Anyway, I'll let you get it on there. I can go ahead and get started though. Clicker. Did you give me the clicker already?
No, not yet. Sorry about that. Oops.
I think we're ready. Thank you very much. This is a good, okay. Well, good evening, everybody. Good evening. Actually, great evening, isn't it? Yes. You know why it's such a great evening? Because tonight is the first night of the rest of your life. You know, for some people, it's not. For some people, they're doing the same thing they did last night, the night before, and the night before that. But I really commend all of you because you've made a conscious decision to better your financial future. And I'm thrilled to be here and share with you, and I think you're going to be thrilled with what I have to show you. How many of you would really like to know the fastest, easiest, safest way to make money in real estate? Anybody? Then you are in for a treat. Because without a doubt, that is, if I can make it go. What's that? Thank you. Discounted notes. Anybody ever bought a note before? Couple people. Okay. Well, I'm going to have all of you buying notes because when you see how awesome it is, you're going to want to start doing notes, let me tell you. How fast is it? You can close a deal in less than 30 days. That's pretty fast, right? And how safe is it? I'm going to show you how you can do deals with none of your own money invested. Is that safe? That is really safe, okay? And how easy is it? It is so easy that the kids are doing it. And I mean that literally. This is my nephew, and when he was 20 years old, he called me up one day and he said, "Aunt Donna, could I have one of your courses?" And I sent my master guide home with his dad. Never thought another thing of it. And you know, a couple months later, Will calls me up and he says, Aunt Donna, I got a deal." I said, "You got a what?" He says, "You know, a deal, a deal." He says, "I got this lady and she wants to sell this note. I got a man that wants to buy it. Will you look at it and make sure I did everything right?" And I'm going, how dare him? He does this all without me. And then I realized, wait a minute. I was with him the whole way with my audio things that he listened to and my checklist and everything. And you know, he had put that entire thing together all by himself. And I went to the closing just so I could be a part of it, but I really didn't need to do anything. He didn't need me. He actually made 15 grand on his first deal. But he's so generous, he split it 50-50 with the bird dog who found the deal for him. And that, can you imagine what that did for him? He was in college. I mean, he got a used car that he could, and then he didn't have to have an extra job that year, so it really was a life-changing thing for him. But he's not the youngest. This is Gavin Thomas, and he came to one of my 4-day academies. I have a 4-day live event, and he came and he actually won a second mortgage that we were giving away. It was a non-performing second. And do you know that at 17, he negotiated a payoff, a settlement on that second mortgage, and he made $4,500, 17 years old. Now, if these two guys can do it, Do you think you could do it? How many people think you could do this? I know everybody in this room could do it. That's how easy it is. Now, one of the things about doing notes is that there's so many different ways that you can make money. Truly, you can tailor-make a plan for you. It doesn't matter what your goals are, whether you're looking for monthly cash flow, whether you're looking for a lump sum of money, whether you want to build a retirement, whatever it is, I can show you a plan on how to get there. It also doesn't matter what your situation is. You could be flat broke, busted, bankrupt, have foreclosures, and you can still do deals because you don't need your own cash or credit. And in fact, when I started out, I was babysitting 9 kids for $1 an hour. This is 30 years ago. And 4 of those kids were my own. I didn't get paid for them. But nonetheless, I mean, I had no money. My husband was in a dead-end job making minimum wage, and I was babysitting just to try to help put food on the table for real. And I'm going to show you the first deal that I ever closed. It was a life-changing deal. But I'm living proof that you do not need your own cash or credit to get started. But on the other hand, you may have a $500,000 401k from a profession or a retirement or something, and you're wondering what can you do with that. It doesn't matter what your situation is. I can show you a plan that will fit it, whether you want to do this full-time, part-time, whatever you want to do. But tonight, what I really want to focus on is how you can make quick cash. How many people would like quick cash? I don't know anybody that can't like a little quick cash. I want to show you how to build a financial legacy. Anybody interested in that? Okay? Notes are the way to go. It is so easy to quickly and safely build a financial legacy. How many people are wanting to acquire properties really cheap? I heard a lot of trading going back and forth, and I got this, and so that's pretty cool. Well, when you see the possibilities of using a non-performing note as a backdoor to getting the property, that's going to be your best way to find properties. I will promise you that. So we're going to talk about that as well. So we're going to cover the performing notes as well as the non-performing notes. I will tell you, I'm going to try to go pretty quickly so we're not here a long time. If you wouldn't mind holding your questions, but I'm not leaving till tomorrow. And as Robert mentioned, I'm a night owl. I'll go out there and sit and answer questions till 2 in the morning if you've got questions, okay? I promise to take care of you. Okay, so you might be thinking, why in the world would someone want to buy a non-performing note? Well, it's real simple. You want to do that for leverage, okay? You buy the non-performing note, and you can either foreclose and get the property, or you can use it as leverage and renegotiate the note and mortgage. And because you bought that for a fraction of what is owed, it enables you to make unbelievable rates of return on your money. Okay, so that's the reason for buying a non-performing note. Now, you might be wondering, well, which one should I do? Well, it depends on what your goals are. It also depends on your experience. The non-performing notes, usually you will get a larger profit, okay? But the thing is, first of all, they take more time. Actual hands-on time, as well as calendar time. It can take a couple years. The last one, I did a short sale. I used to teach short sales. I don't anymore. And that took me 18 months to do. I saved the lady $500,000, but it took 18 months to get the thing done, you know? But that's the way the non-performers are. But the big thing that I want people to understand about the non-performers, they are much riskier. I am very anti-risk. I have done my share of boot camps, and the most expensive ones were self-taught, okay? And I'm done with that, okay? So I have learned to be much more conservative, and you will see that what I teach is more conservative because I don't want you to lose money either. And it bothers me that there are a lot of speakers out there saying, oh, jump into the non-performing note market. And the people have no experience with real estate. That's ludicrous. Because what are you going to do when you wind up with a property and you've never owned a property before? On the other hand, if you are an experienced real estate investor, my gosh, the opportunities in non-performing notes are amazing, okay? So my recommendation is if you're new to real estate, start with the performing notes, the seller carrybacks. Get used to those, okay? Get a track record and an understanding. And then, if you're still interested, get into the non-performers. Does that make sense? With the performing notes, you can still make really nice profits. And the thing is, they take very little time. I can flip a performing note with 15 hours invested in it. And it can be risk-free if you set it up like I'm going to show you how, because you won't even have your own money invested. So do you see the difference between the performers and non-performers? So then people say, well, shoot, I don't know if I should do notes or should I just stick with the properties? Well, the truth is that I'll take my notes any day of the week over properties. I can make a lot more money, they're a lot less hassle. I love my performing notes. On the other hand though, I would be amiss if I told you just all do notes, because you really ought to have a balanced portfolio. You want to have some property and some notes. Now, your balance might be like this, and mine might be like this. But you do want some of the real property because of the tax benefits and because you want the appreciation, okay? But again, everybody makes up their own balance, but it is a good idea to have some of both. Now, I think of it like this. Which door would you choose? Does this look familiar? I actually saw, somebody was showing pictures, I thought, oh, it's not quite as bad as mine, but a lot of trash left behind. It was yours, wasn't it? You know, I'm so sick of that. Oh my gosh. I had one property, this was a long time ago, and I went to look at it, and I got out of the car across the street from the property, and the lady opened the door, and you could smell the stench when she opened the door. That's how bad it was. And she had dogs that lived in the basement and didn't clean up after them. She told me that when she would ride to work on the bus, everybody would get up and go to the other end of the bus or the train or whatever it was. I mean, that's the kind of stuff, and I've had it with that. I don't want to deal with that anymore. This is me. I love notes. I like the money, I like to have fun. So I'm always going to pick the notes if I have a choice. But again, it's a good idea to have a balance. Okay, so here's why I think you're going to prefer the notes over the properties. With notes, you never own the property. Okay? You don't have any of the headaches that go with property ownership. The key is you want to control the property without owning it. And that's what notes allow you to do. If they don't pay, then you can take the property. But as long as they're paying, they own the property, okay? So this means that you never have to deal with the proverbial tenants, trash, and toilets. And no bed bugs. Anybody like that? Oh my gosh, if you have bed bugs in a place. Do you mind holding questions, or is it important?
I think, unless I missed it, Donna, did you explain before the difference between performing and non-performing?
Okay, a performing note is one that that people are paying on. Okay, it's not in default. And non-performing is when they're in default. And usually that's if they've been 90 days late. Sorry about that. Thank you. Okay, so when you own the note, you don't have to deal with rehabs. And I know there's a lot of rehabbers in there, and my hat is off to you. But when I started in rehabs 30 years ago, it's like the contractors would get drunk, they didn't show up on the job. I'm like, I had enough of this. So I like no rehabs, no building orders, no negative cash flows, no carrying costs. And here's what I really like, that with the notes, I can make full-time profit for part-time effort. With my notes, even when I first started out years ago, I was working part-time. I had 4 little kids. I was lucky to spend 10 to 15 hours a week working. and I was making more money than my friends who had PhDs and master's degrees. And when their kids got sick at school, Donna, Matthew's sick and I can't pick him up. Would you mind getting him? Heck no. And I'd go pick him up and bring him to my house. That's the kind of flexibility that you get with the notes. And quite honestly, that's why I started with notes. I had 4 little kids, and I had to make more than $1 an hour, and I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. And it was notes that allowed me to do that. And the thing is that notes, they give you the money to live a better life. But more importantly, they give you the time to live your life. You know what I mean? Because some people are so caught up in just the hustle and bustle of constantly doing this and that. And it's like, man, your life's going to be over. And all you did was work. And with notes, you get the best of both worlds. You're going to make amazing rates of return. I'm going to show you some real deals, because if I told you right now, you wouldn't believe it. But I'm going to show you real deals that will blow your mind when you see the rate of return you can get on notes. And again, and I hope you get this, you don't need your own cash or credit. Can you say that? I don't need cash or credit. Everybody thinks you've got to have money to make money. With notes, that's not true. Yeah, I can show you how to make a lot more money if you've got some to start with, but I am living proof, and most of my students, they start out with nothing. And they make 10,000 here, 50 there, 40 there, and before long, they're investing in notes. They have their own cash. And ultimately, this gives you, like I said, both the time and the money to live your vision. You know, when I was babysitting all these little kids, I mean, it was really, really hard. And I would lie in bed at night and I'd say, Lord, Lord, please show me the pot at the end of the rainbow. Well, he did. It goes to show you need to be more specific. But seriously, he did show me the pot at the end of the rainbow, and that was to do the notes. And I've been doing them for over 30 years. They've been a huge blessing for my family, and they're going to be a huge blessing for you and your family as well. So, without further ado, I want to show you the fastest, easiest, safest way to make money in real estate. And that is to flip a note. Can you say flip a note? Flip a note. Flip a note. It's just like flipping a house, only it's a lot easier, okay? And it can be either performing, where they're paying on time, or the non-performing, where they're in default. You can flip either type of note. So, when you flip a note, it's very easy. I mean, you really can flip a note and make 10 grand in less than 30 days. How many people would like that? I mean, you can do that. It's very realistic. And again, with none of your own cash or credit. So, if you're looking for quick cash, I would recommend that you start by flipping a note. Now, before we go any further, I want to make sure we're all on the same page with terminology. A note is a promise to pay. A note is an IOU. I'll pay you $100,000, 10% interest, $500 a month, and so on, okay? So it is the promise to pay, and it contains all of the terms. The mortgage, or deed of trust, is the security or collateral for the note. So if the borrower doesn't pay as they agreed, then it is the mortgage that allows the lender to foreclose, take the house, and they can keep it for a rental, move into it, or they can sell it and recoup all their money. And so it is the mortgage that gets recorded at the courthouse that puts a lien on the property. And that's where the safety of investing in notes come from. All of the notes, I do not recommend you buy an unsecured note. Every note that you buy should be secured by real estate. That's what makes it safe. Okay, so I want to go through my Sam and Bill example. And to me, I literally made this up 30 years ago because I am a visual person, and I had to write it down and get the idea. this guy's this and this guy's that, and I had a hard time realizing what buying the cash flow was. I want you to know that I went to 2 weekend seminars and still didn't know what it meant to buy a discounted note, okay? But once I got it, look out, here I am. And quite frankly, that's why I'm up here teaching. Because I realized there's a lot of, quote, gurus out there who will show you that you want to know it, but they're either lousy teachers or they don't care. And so, like I said, I spent 2 weekends with a very well-known guru and still didn't know what a discounted note was. So I'm going to show you right now what a discounted note is. Let's say that you have Sam Seller, and he owns his own house free and clear. Let's say it's worth $600,000. The important thing to know is this works if it is $60,000. Okay, it doesn't matter what the value of the house is. But here's something important. The larger the note, the larger the profit. Okay? Now, I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, the Midwest. I got lots of $60,000 deals. So I can close a lot more $60,000 deals and make more money than I can a $600,000 deal. But it just depends on where you're at and where, you know, your backyard is that you're farming. But just know it works regardless of the value. You just make more money the higher the value of the note. So let's say Sam, he puts this house up for sale, and every time he thinks he's got it sold, the people, they lose their loan. They don't get approved. So he's lamenting to this friend of his, and the friend says, look, what are you going to do with the money? Put it in the stock market? You know, why don't you put an ad on Craigslist and say that you'll be the bank? That you'll carry back a note, that you will allow the buyer to pay you over time instead of getting a bank loan. It's called seller carryback. And so Sam does this, and immediately he gets a call from Bill Bauer. And Bill Bauer rushes over, looks at the house, falls in love with it, and he says, Sam, I want to buy your house. He said, I just sold my own house. He said, I've got $150,000. I can give that to you as a down payment. And he says, I'll pay you 10% interest, I'll pay you $4,000 a month, and at the end of 10 years, I'll refinance and pay you off. Is that a good deal for Sam? Absolutely, that's a great deal for him. So they strike a deal. So Sam sells the $600,000 house to Bill. And in exchange, Bill gives Sam $150,000 in cash, plus he gives him a note and mortgage for $450,000. Okay? So Sam has financed this house. Sam is the bank. Okay, was this a good deal for Sam? Well, first of all, he got a very quick sale of his house, didn't he? Immediately. Okay? Then he's getting 10% on his money. Is that a nice rate of return? Absolutely. And he's got the tax benefits of an installment sale because he's spreading out his profit over time. And that's a really good reason for people to use a seller carryback. And overall, he's got a nice, safe investment. So how many of you would do this deal if you were Sam? Absolutely. Seller carrybacks are really, really good. They're a very smart thing for investors to do, or sellers. But so let's say that 2 years go by, and this $450,000 mortgage is now paid down to just over $443,000. Well, what happens if Sam gets tired of waiting for his money? He got really tired. I think sometimes it feels like that when you're waiting to get paid, you know? But seriously, you know, that's what happens. People agree that they'll take their money over time, and then life happens. They get married, they get divorced, they want to start a business, go to school, travel, and they need cash, and they don't want to wait for it anymore. And so let's say that Sam has this opportunity of a lifetime. He's going to be a multi-millionaire, and all he needs is $375,000. Where's his money? It's tied up. He's got to wait another 8 years to collect his money. Well, it just so happens that he got a letter from Donna dealer here. And this letter says, Dear Sam, I understand you're receiving payments on a mortgage, and I pay cash for mortgages. Give me a call, and I'll tell you exactly how much money I can give you for the mortgage. So he calls me up, tells me the whole scenario. Sounds like a great deal to me. So we strike a deal, and Sam sells me the remaining $443,000 of payments. And in exchange, I give him the $375,000 in cash that he's looking for. Okay, did I buy the house? No, Bill lives in the house. I bought the right to collect the payments. Okay, that's an important thing. Just like banks sell notes. Have you ever had your note on your house? Oh, now you got to pay Fifth Third Bank. Oh, now you got to pay Provident Bank. That's what happens. Same concept. Okay. Okay, so does in fact Bill's position change? No. The only thing that changes for Bill is that he's going to make his payments to me. Everything else has to stay the same. It's a contract. Can't be changed unless he agrees. So let's look and see if this was a good deal for Sam to sell me the note. First of all, he got $150,000 as a down payment. He's collected $96,000 in monthly payments over the last 2 years, and now I just gave him $375,000. That's $621,000. Do you remember what he was selling the house for? $600. Is he happy? You better believe he is. And let me tell you again, it's not always about the money. It's about the timing. When he wants the money, that's when he will make a deal. Okay? And you just want to be in a place where you can cash them out and give them the money when they want it. And the beauty of it is, it doesn't have to be your money. It could be my money. It could be another investor here's their money. It does not have to be your own money. But when you can put that deal together, you're going to put money in your own pocket. And that's what's so cool about it. Okay, so how many people would like to be in my shoes on this deal? Everybody should, let me tell you, if you want to make money. Because what did I do? I just bought a $443,000 asset for $375,000. So I've built in $68,000 worth of profit. And if I used my own money to do this, I would be making 13.25% on my money. But hold on a second. Didn't we just say that Bill's position doesn't change? Well, if he's only paying 10, how can I be making 13.25? Because I have less money invested. Here's an important concept that you want to get. When you buy a discounted note, there are two profit centers. There is the interest that the borrower is paying, but there is also the discount that you negotiated. That's extra money in the deal that wasn't there before you bought it. Okay? So because I got an extra $68,000 of profit, that's what makes me get a 13.25% return instead of just the 10 that Bill is paying. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. Okay, so this was a great deal for me. But, and I want you to write this down. This is the basis for doing these notes. The less that you pay for a discounted mortgage, the higher your rate of return. Okay, when you're looking at notes and you're making offers, the less that you pay, the higher your rate of return is going to be. Okay, so if you have your own money to invest, you're going to make 13.25 on this deal. But what if you don't have any cash? I told you I had no money. Okay, so what are we going to do? We are going to flip the note. Let me hear you say it again. Flip the note, okay? And you're going to use your investor's money to buy it. So, and know again that this works both for the performing notes and the non-performing notes. Okay? Okay, so you're thinking, flip the note, well, where am I going to get the money? You're going to use Irene investor's money. So, this next slide here is the most important slide that I'm going to show you all night. And this is the secret of how you're going to make money on a discounted note. What you do is initially, you are going to get this under contract from Sam Seller. and Sam says he needs $375,000. And we said, if you had your own money, you'd make 13 1/4. But you don't have your own money. If you want to make money on this deal, all you need to do is find an investor who wants a lower rate of return than what you're buying for. So you find somebody that's looking for less than 13 1/4, and that means they're going to pay more, okay? So let's say you're right here in this meeting, and after the meeting or on the break, you're chatting with Irene, and she says, you know what, I'm so sick at 3 o'clock in the morning phone calls. I've had it with dealing with the tenants. Man, if I could make 11 or 12%, I'd switch to notes in a heartbeat. Well, is 11.5% less than 13 1/4? Sure is. If she wants 11.5% return, that means she's going to pay $410,000. Do you think we should sell this to her?
Yeah.
I'm thinking so, if you want to make $35,000. So, do you see how simple this is? It's a matter that you get it under contract to buy, you get it under contract to sell, and whatever the difference is, that's your profit. Isn't that the same way you flip a house? Okay? And people have this idea that notes are so sophisticated and oh my gosh, I gotta calculate yields, rates of return, and all this stuff. I love to talk about my brother. My brother hates numbers, but he's a people person. And he sure knows how to go talk to Sam and say, hey Sam, how much do you want for that note? How much do you want for it? $375. No! Let me work with you. Sam, what do you want for this note?
$375.
Okay, great. I got a contract here, let me just write this up. And you sign it, now we got a deal, okay? You think he knows that it's a 13 1/4% return? No. He doesn't know how to use a calculator, but he knows that's what Sam needs, okay? And so then he knows how to go over to Irene Investor and say, hey, Irene, I got this contract, I got a note deal. Can you look at it, tell me how much you'll pay for it? How much would you give me for this note? You'll give me $410. Thank you. Okay, so she says $410. Do I know, or does my brother know that that's an 11.5% return? No. But what he does know is 410 minus 375 gives him a $35,000 profit. Do you see how easy it is? Now, I love the calculator. I love figuring the numbers, and I'll make more if I do this and that. But you don't have to love the numbers. You can simply make a deal. How much do you want? How much will you give me? And whatever falls out the middle, that's yours. Okay? And this deal right here is what I got started on. And I was closing 1 or 2 of these a month. Changed my life, okay? And this is working this particular deal probably takes about 15 hours. And I was working 10 to 15 hours a week. And I was closing 1 to 2 deals a month. That's a far cry from babysitting for $1 an hour. And I got to stay home and be with my kids. This is why I love doing notes. Now, where did I get the money to give to Sam? I'm using Irene's money. There are 2 different ways to do this. How many of you have ever done a simultaneous close? You done that? This is my favorite way, and this is where you close 2 transactions back to back, and you use the proceeds that come from the second one to actually fund the first one. So it looks like this. Irene will wire her $410,000 into the title company. The title company sets up 2 closings. The first one would be Sam selling the note to you, and then the second one is you selling the note to Irene. And so your title agents or closing agents putting everything together, and she says, gosh, Donna's going to make $410,000 when she sells this to Irene. And lo and behold, Irene's money's already sitting in our escrow account. So if she knows I'm about to make $410,000 and it's in their escrow account, does she need my money? No. What she does is she takes $375,000 of Irene's money and she closes on the first leg of that. So now I'm the proud owner of this note. And the note that I just bought with Irene's money for $375, I am now going to turn around and sell to her for $410,000, and that's where I make the $35,000 profit. Isn't that sweet? And that is the best way to do this with other people's money. Now you might be thinking, Donna, don't you know you can't use a simultaneous close if you're flipping a house? That's true. I owned a title company for several years, and we could not do that if we were flipping a house. But are we flipping a house? No, we're flipping the financing. So I want you to think about that. If you're trying to figure out how to use other people's money to flip houses, and you know, I got these deals, but I don't have any money for it, maybe you should think about getting note deals. Because it's much easier to structure a note deal without your own money than it is a house, if you're looking at buying the house. So start with the notes. Now you've got $35,000 if you want to go pay, you can pay cash for a house. Okay? You can actually fund your own real estate business. Now the other way to do it is with an assignment of contract. I know a bunch of you have assigned contracts. You've done that. Very common. So you're going to get this under contract to buy the note from Sam for $375. And what you do is you sell your position to Irene for $35,000. She writes you a check for $35,000, and now she steps into your shoes and she buys the note from Sam for $375. But if she's writing you a check for $35,000, what does she now know that you probably don't want her to know? I get thank you notes from investors. Then they find out how much money I made and they think they left money on the table. It's like, come on. So it's just human nature. It's best, that's why I like to use the simultaneous close, because unless somebody sees both settlement statements and says, she bought it for this, she sold it for that, they have no idea what I made. And that's how I like to do my deals. Okay, so I just showed you two different ways that you can invest in notes. If you came here tonight and you have your own cash, you want to be Irene or Ivan investor. You're going to buy the note and hold it. You're going to use your own cash, and you do it because you want a nice, safe investment. On the other hand, if you came here tonight, maybe your money's already all invested, or maybe you lost all your money, or you don't have any money, then you want to be Donna Dealer. And you're going to start just like I did. You're going to flip the note. What are you going to do?
Flip the note.
Flip the note. You use OPM, which is what?
Other people's money.
Thank you. And you do it because you want to make a lump sum of cash. And like I said, you make $35,000 here, 40 there, 50 there, $395,000 over here. This is one of my students, Phil. On his first deal, his profit was over $395,000. How many would like that for a first deal? Okay, do you remember what I said? How did he make that much money? I already told you how. A larger note. He found a note that he could buy for $2 million. He didn't have $2 million. But he found an institution that would buy the note. He did a simultaneous close, he flipped it to them, and he made over $395,000 on one deal. Isn't that awesome? Awesome. And so the big thing that I want you to see from this is, can we agree that we all want to be passive investors? Isn't that our goal? Have mailbox money just coming in? So the way to get there with notes, you start as Donna Dealer or Donald Dealer, and you're flipping the notes to make lump sums of money. But once you get that money, then you invest it. And you're Ivan or Irene investor, and that's when you have mailbox money. Everybody with me on that? Okay, so that's how you get to the end game. Okay, how many of you would like to build wealth from scratch? Ready to do that? I'm going to show you something that will totally blow you away. This is one of the coolest things, and I actually showed this at one of my academies, and a fellow, Kurt, he went home and he just made up his mind he was going to do this deal. He found a woman who was moving to Europe. She was getting rid of all her properties, and so she sold his property, carried back a note. It was 180 payments, $71,000 balance. No payments had been made on it yet. And she agreed to sell Kurt this note for $46,000. Okay? Calls me up all excited, Donna, I got this deal. Do you have an investor? And I said, sure. So I call up an institution, and they said, you know what, there's no seasoning. They haven't made any payments. We won't buy the whole thing, but we'll buy 100 payments. I said, okay, what will you give me? He said they'd give me $50,000 for 100 payments. Do you see what happened here? He's got it under contract to buy 180 payments for $46,000. And I just sold just 100 of them for $50,000. So that's $4,000 that he makes up front, but what about his last 80 payments? Where do they go? In his pocket. To the tune of about $45,000. How many people like that deal? Now wait till you hear this. It really wasn't his money. It was his IRA's money. He did this in his self-directed IRA. So he did a simultaneous close. His IRA bought the note and for $46,000 on a simultaneous close. And here's the thing, theoretically on a simultaneous close, your IRA would not need any money, but the regulations require that it show consideration. So I add this clause in my note purchase agreement that says that I will give Sam Seller $100 earnest money. So I send my direction of investment to my IRA trustee and say, I want to buy this note, send him $100 earnest money. And that allows me to be putting this cash into the IRA, and it is not even a contribution. It is profit from the deal. Isn't that sweet? It's very cool, isn't it? Yeah. So your IRA buys the note, sells it, sells part of it, makes upfront cash of $4,000, and after the institution collects the 100 payments, your IRA is going to collect the last 80. Realistically, what happens to most mortgages? They get paid off early, right? So realistically, what's going to happen is you're going to get a phone call in a couple of years, and they're going to say, hey, so-and-so, they just sold the house, or they just refied. How much is owed on this note? What's the tail end? What is owed to you? And you're going to get a lump sum of cash that represents the value at that point of those 80 payments. Isn't that awesome? And you don't even have any money invested in it. Isn't that sweet? I get excited about this. So, do you all have self-directed IRAs? Awesome. If you don't, you definitely need to get one. Everything I'm showing you tonight can be done in your self-directed IRA. Okay. How many of you would like to grow your money quickly and safely? Does that appeal to you? Okay. This is a really cool deal that I did. The idea is you lock in a really nice rate of return. So even if nothing else happens but you collect payments, you're getting a great rate of return. But you want to try to negotiate an early payoff. Because here's the thing. You buy a note at a discount. Going back to Sam and Bill, that's $68,000. And I'm supposed to collect that over 8 years. But if I got Bill to refinance that same day I bought it, do you see I'd get the $68,000 back that day? Okay? So whenever you buy a discounted note, if you can, you want to negotiate an early payoff, and your rate of return goes through the roof because you got your money back quicker. So in this case, I purchased 39 monthly payments, and there was a $25,000 balloon. That's a lump sum payment at the end. I only bought $14,000 of that balloon, and I bought that for $10,300. So that gave me a 30% return. How many people like to be making 30%? Passive investment, just sitting back collecting payments. But it gets better. It just so happens that I got a call from the Florida Department of Transportation. They want to run a highway straight through that property. They wanted to know what the payoff was. So 6 months later, 8 months later, it pays off. And I made, on a little $10,000 investment, I made $6,000. Okay, and my rate of return jumped to 88%. 88%. Anybody here getting 88% on your real estate? Hello? Guys, this is really cool, you know? And you You never own the property. You're just doing numbers and paper and stuff. I mean, this is the stuff that can happen. And people say that, you know, this is too good to be true. If it's too good to be true, you know, it's not true. The numbers don't lie. If you buy it at a discount and it pays off early, it is a fact your rate of return, in this case, is going to jump to 88%. Now the key is that when you get that payoff, you need to turn around and buy another note. Don't go put it in a 2% CD. Really. Okay. This is a deal that we did similarly, and I have a coaching program. And when you get my home study materials, you'll get 6 months of my easiest 1, 2, 3 coaching. And what it is, you look for the deal. I teach you 20 different ways, more than 20 different ways, to find notes. You find the deal, you fill out the submission form, and you send it in. From that point on, I walk you through the deal. I write up the evaluation, what I think we can get for it, and I write exactly the quotes, so when you call them up, you know exactly what to say. And then when they accept the offer, I write up the contract for you, we use my investors, and when we close, we split the profit 50-50, okay? That's all part of my program. And this is a deal, Rick was my student. The interesting thing, I'm in Cincinnati, he's in Detroit, and Miss Annie was in Dallas, Texas. And we put this deal together. Her words were, I made a boatload of money on this over the years, and if I can get $80,000, I'll sell you this note. So we got it under contract. If we had used our own money, we'd be making 25%. Okay? When you go find these notes, it is not unusual to be making 20, 25, 30% on your money right out of the gate with no early payoff. So, but I call up one of my investors who I knew lived in Texas, but I sure didn't know that he lived a half hour from this property. I call that a God thing. So I talk to him, he goes, he looks at the property, and we strike a deal, and he says he'll buy it for $95,000, which gave him a 17% return. The truth is I could have gotten more, but he was ready to go. Miss Annie was very sick, and Rick and I just decided we wanted to close for her sake. So we flipped that note, and our net profit was just under $14,000, which we split. But this is what I really want you to see. I have an investor. His profession, he's an attorney, and he helps people to improve their credit. And so the night before we closed, I always do a conference call and introduce the investor to Bauer. And he says to the lady, how's your credit? She says, well, husband had a heart attack 3 years ago, we're still paying medical bills. He says, look, if I can help you to refinance, would you be interested in lowering your interest rate? Absolutely. 3 months later, I get an email from Ivan Investor. She had paid off, and he had $117,000. He says, do you have another note? And look at his rate of return. It jumped to 96%. These are real numbers. And even if you don't use a calculator and you don't know how to calculate them, do you see that you typically don't make 96% on a house? Okay, if you do, man, keep doing it, because that's a great deal. But that's not the average, okay? And you don't have any of the headaches of dealing with the house. And you don't have any of the risk of dealing with the house. That's the beauty of doing the notes. Okay. Another thing that I want to stress is people think that they have to get into the note business. And people tell me all the time, I don't have time to do notes. You know what? If you don't have time to do notes, then you can't afford not to do notes. You know, it's like, great. Yeah, really, if your life is that messed up that you don't have time to do them, you sure as heck better slam on the brakes and do a note, because it's going to change your life, okay? It really will. If you just were to do one of these notes a year, can you take 10 or 15 hours out and do one note a year? Get an early payoff, and then that means you have to do 2 notes a year. I'm telling you, I've run the numbers on it. And you can take, if you had $100,000 to start with, you could turn that into over $1 million in less than 10 years. Just by doing 1 or 2 note deals a year. It can change your life. So see, just think about it. Do I want to change my future enough that I'm willing to dedicate 15 hours a year to doing notes. I'm serious. I'm really serious. Okay. How many rehabbers do we have here? Okay. So if you want to increase your fix and flips and your rentals, you need to consider doing the seller carrybacks. How many of you carry back notes? Anybody? Okay. You can sell properties fast. You don't have to worry about buyers getting approved. You can buy properties even if your credit stinks. Okay. It opens up all kinds of doors. One of the things I teach, think about this. Usually, when you talk about buying no money down, doesn't that mean that the seller didn't get any money? How's that working for you? You know, usually they want money, that's why they're selling. I can show you how you can create a note, sell part of the note at closing, give them a 20% down payment, and walk away with $10,000 in your pocket so you can go put new carpet in, paint, do whatever you want. How many people think you could close more deals if you could do that? It's all in creative structuring, and it's using the seller carryback notes. One of the big things that I teach in my smart seller financing is how to create notes that when you want to cash out of them, you want to get top dollar. And if you're into, if you're flipping houses or you're creating the notes, this is the book you want to start with. Because you want to create notes that you know will sell for as much as possible. Okay. Okay, so far we have talked about performing notes that are not in default. They're making payments. I'm going to try to get up here. I might need a ladder. Okay. Okay. Is anybody interested in learning about non-performing notes? It's getting late. Do we still have time to do that? Yes. Okay. So I'm going to try to fly through here. So the fact is that the small community banks will sell their non-performing notes. Chase, Wells Fargo, they don't sell their notes. They sell to huge hedge funds. But your smaller community banks and credit unions will sell non-performing notes. And so one of the things that you can do is to flip a non-performing note, just like we flipped Sam's note to Bill. You can buy a defaulted note from the bank. And let's say you don't want to work the property. You're not a rehabber. You don't want to own the property. But how many people here would like to buy some properties? Look, all these people are potential buyers for a note if you make a deal with a bank. And so they can buy, you buy the defaulted note and you wholesale it to another investor for quick cash. And if you make a decent deal and you get a good deal with the bank, you can flip it for 10 grand. And then all the people that raise their hand that want to own the house, then they would be a buyer for it. They buy it, and they can, if they really want the house, they can just go ahead and foreclose and take the house. Or if they get the power of notes, they go, well, first I'm going to try to modify it, because if I can fix this and get an 80% rate of return, modifying the note and leave the people in, who in the heck wants to rehab it? Okay? But they're prepared to do either or. Okay? So you're making 10 grand on a defaulted note and you never own the property. How many people like that, dude? This is my idea of investing in non-performing notes. Okay? Or the other thing that you can do, let me back up, I didn't realize that was on the same screen. So the other thing you can do is you can get this under contract to buy this note from the bank, and before you sell it to the end buyer, you can work with the homeowner and modify it. Now it's already, you know what the game plan is. Do you think you could sell it for more? Absolutely. And I've got to say something here because I know there's people in here that are going to catch me on this. If you are buying direct from a bank, you cannot contact the homeowner until after you buy it. You will be blackballed. It will be a big problem. But I teach you how to go direct to the homeowner. And so you're already working with them, and that's why you can do this work out ahead of time. So don't go telling people that Donna's saying contact the homeowner because you'll get me in trouble. Okay. Now, if you want a monthly cash flow, then what you do is you buy the note and you work out a forbearance agreement. You say, look, you can stay in the house. I know you're behind, but what can you do? and you work out a payment plan, and now they're going to start making monthly payments to you, okay? And this is a real win-win. So you buy the defaulted note, this is a totally different deal, sorry, I'm going too fast. So that is one way. If you want monthly cash flow, buy the defaulted note and do a workout with the homeowner. Keep them in the house and they make payments to you, okay? That's going to give you a super high rate of return. This is another way. When you buy these notes, like you could buy a note, a $40,000 note. You might buy it for 10, okay? You could sit down with the homeowner and say, look, you owe me $40,000. How much, what can you do? You could say, look, if you pay me 20, I'll walk away. You just save them 20,000 and you just made 10, okay? Or you could say, look, I'll take 20,000, I'll take 10,000 now, so you get your money back, and you can pay me $500 a month for so many months. It's whatever you work out between the two of them. Great, great way to make money, and you never own the property. Or, if you want the property, you simply foreclose and take the property, or what I normally do is I negotiate and get a deed in lieu. Do y'all know what a deed in lieu is? Okay. These people don't want to be foreclosed on. And if you get to them and you can, normally, they're happy to give you a deed in lieu and you don't even have to bother with the foreclosure and you wind up with a house. Okay. Okay. You can literally acquire properties for pennies on the dollar. This is a student of mine. He bought 3 non-performing notes from a Columbus bank, a small community bank, for 10 grand. He goes and he knocks on the door, and I've seen this house, this is a real deal. He knocks on the door, the homeowner says, he introduces himself, I just bought the note from the bank. The homeowner says, thank God, I've been calling the bank, they won't talk to me, they said they sold the note. I just went out of here, can I just give you the deed? Jeez. Give me the deed? I mean, it doesn't always happen like that, but it can, because a lot of times the homeowner just wants out and they don't know how to get out. So he winds up getting this house, $45,000 house, for $3,333. How many people would like that deal? Very, very sweet deal. This is another deal that one of my students did, and this is an example of how most people, if something looks like a can of worms, they run. And what I have found out over the years is if you have the patience to dig in, you can make a lot of money on some of those deals. And that's exactly what happened here. He had been eyeballing this, it was like an office and a warehouse. And it was 14,000 square foot building. And by the square footage, at $56 a square foot, it's worth $784,000. And he noticed every year the price kept dropping down, 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 until finally it was $199,000 for this property. He's going, something's up here. So he starts checking out and he finds out that there's all kinds of liens on the property. There was a federal tax liens for $150,000. The first mortgage was in default. There were mechanics liens, utility liens. It needed repairs. The owner was in both bankruptcy and a divorce. Get this, $45,000 in property taxes, and the property taxes got sold at the auction and the owner did not redeem them. Okay, so now we got tax liens on there, and the tax buyer can file a deed and take the house, take the property. So you want to talk about lowballing, okay? You should always lowball. I couldn't believe this, but so this is $190,000 first, and Jim offers the bank $1,500. Are you kidding me? How could you look them? Yeah. Obviously, they turned it down. And he says, okay. So he goes back to him, and now he gets a little aggressive. He offers him $15,000 for this $190,000 note. Do you know they agreed? Why did they agree?
Because they don't have to deal with the stress.
They're afraid of that tax lien. They're going to lose it. $15,000 is better than nothing. And I think that probably covered their attorney fees. That's what I think. I don't know. So anyway, he gets it under contract so that he can buy this. He hires an attorney to check out the whole situation. And it turns out that the guy that bought the tax liens, he didn't file the deed in time. So the tax liens go away. It's a moot point. So the very thing that was causing the bank not to do anything and to accept $15,000 is totally null and void. So he goes ahead and it was a friendly foreclosure, if there is such a thing. He talked to the homeowner. The homeowner was very helpful, took him through everything, and they went ahead and foreclosed. So he gets a $784,000 property for $15,000 and $4,000 in attorney fees. That is $77,000 a year income for life. How many people would like to have done that? That's so sweet. But see, most of us would just walk away from that. This is a big mess, I don't want to deal with it. It took him a lot of time, but was it worth it? You better believe it. That's the kind of stuff you can get with the non-performing notes. But that took some money, it took some time, and that's not for a brand new investor to do. He had experience with properties. So these are just a few of the examples, and really the sky is the limit. I want to wrap this up, and in closing, I want to share with you my favorite deal. And it's my favorite deal. It's not the one I made the most money on, but this was the first deal that I ever did. I went down to the courthouse. Back then you couldn't buy a list. Now you buy a list and you get all the names that you want of people holding notes. But I had to go to the courthouse, spent the whole day going through microfiche. Now some of you might be old enough to remember that. Okay? And my neck, my head hurt so bad. I came home, I had 5 leads. I'm going, well, what I was going to say, I can't say it in front of everybody. I said, this isn't working, you know, and I'm ready just to throw in the towel. I thought, you know what, I worked really hard for these 5 leads. I'm going to at least send my letter. And do you know that this deal came from one of those 5 leads? I get a call from this young guy, and he and his brother had inherited a free and clear 4 family from their aunt. They were as different as night and day. The guy that called me, he was a complete bum. He couldn't hold down a job, he was on drugs, he wouldn't help with the property. His brother did everything, painted, collected rents, mowed the grass. Needless to say, they didn't get along. So Daniel, the responsible brother, buys out David, the bum. Okay? And so, I'm sorry. Trying to be short here. And so what happened was, he sells his half, $57,000 worth, gave him $25,000 down, and they create a first mortgage for $32,000. That's a first mortgage secured by a $114,000 property. Is that a safe investment or what? Isn't that cool? Okay. So this is looking really sweet as he tells me this. And so 13 payments have been made. This is why I love notes instead of private lending. And I do private lending. But when somebody's already made 13 payments on time every month, that's a pretty good sign they're going to keep making payments. There were 71 payments left and $28,000 owing. Now I recommend that you make 2 offers. My first offer was that I'll buy the entire remaining balance. David, I'll give you $20,000 for the rest of your note. Now if he had taken that offer, and I used my own money, I'd be making 21.5%. I'm telling you, if you look for these deals, it is not unusual to get 20 to 30% returns on your money. My second offer was, I'll just buy part of the note. I'll buy the next 3 years of payments, I'll give you $12,000 for it. Which deal do you think he took? They take this, because it's like, get their cake and eat it too. They love the idea they're getting 12 grand now, but after 36 months, they get their monthly payments again. Now, if he had taken my course, he'd have known the other deal was a better deal for him, because here I'm making 28%, okay? That doesn't matter. Again, they don't know rates of return. They just know $12,000 is what he needed at the time. So I bought the $12,000, I did a simultaneous close, sold it to an investor with my title and appraisal. It wound up that I made $1,722. This is 30 years ago, you guys. This is when I'm babysitting, well, 9 kids, but 5 for $1 an hour. Okay? Okay, so I sent David a letter. Dear David, it's really a pleasure doing business with you. In fact, if you ever want to sell the rest of the note, I'll give you $6,000 for the rest of the note. Time out. Do you see what just happened? He just lost 2 grand, right? Because I was offering him 20, but now it's down to 18. Well, the big question is, how long do you think it took him to blow $12,000? It was awful. I get a call, wait till you hear this. I get a call from the Boone County, Kentucky jail. David is in jail, and I was his one phone call. He didn't call his mother, he didn't call an attorney, he needed bail money, and he knew where to get it. So I get on the phone like, I'm dumbfounded. What is the Boone County, Kentucky jail calling? And so he says, how quick can you get this done? You know? I'd already done all my due diligence. I got a quick title update. I got a lady from the Cincinnati REIA group who was a notary. She goes with me. We go into the Boone County, Kentucky jail. They locked us in the jail cell. And I bought the second half of the note sitting in the Boone County, Kentucky jail. So if you ask me if I've ever been in jail, the honest answer is yes. I swear, I was just buying the note. So I bought the note, I turned around, I sold that to an investor. I made $3,600 on the second part of the deal. So on my very first deal, I made $5,372. And that was a life-changing deal. Do you see why that's my favorite deal? Thank you. To go from $1 an hour, I mean, this is like $1 million to me, you know what I mean? I'm dumbfounded. I mean, I went out and I bought a used car. I had not had a car. I happened to borrow my mother's car all the time. But it really was not the money that changed my life. What was it? The freedom. It was that I could do it. It was that this works. I've done it twice. You know, each half of the deal. I got this, baby. I'm doing it. You know, this is my ticket out of here. And so that was why it was life-changing for me. Okay, and that is exactly why. Like, I remember that day when I closed this deal. I don't even jog, and I jogged because I was so excited. You know, and I want you guys to experience that same thing. And so, like I said before, when I went to learn how to do this, I took 2 weekend courses and still didn't understand what a discounted note was. And I realized, you know, I had an attorney who taught me then. That's how I ultimately learned. But I put together the complete system. And so I wanted to share it with everybody else to show you that it can be done. This is my main master guide. How many people like the idea of doing the seller carrybacks? Do you like that? The salmon bill? Then this is what you want to start with, okay? And it's a big book, but you'll see it's designed as a reference. Go to the table of contents. You want to know how to market, turn to that thing. If you want to know the time value of money, turn to that one. How to close the deal, how to do your due diligence, whatever it is, just flip to that section, okay? It's made to be very easy to follow, and it also comes with 10 hours of audio, so you can pop it in your CD player and play it while you're driving. This is what will enable you to put $10,000 cash in your pocket in the next 30 to 60 days and never own the property, and you don't even need your own cash or credit. And this retails for $2,497. But don't worry, I got a special deal. don't get up in the morning. Okay. So this is the book I already told you about. If you're flipping houses, this is the book you want to start with. And it teaches you how to create notes that you can later sell for maximum cash out. And it retails for $597. This book, if you hate the calculator, you will love this. If you love the calculator, you will love this. I had a guy once, I was at a convention, and he had bought my materials the day before, and then I was having this little calculator course. And he comes in, and he says, this little book is worth the whole amount that I paid for the course. Because it makes it so easy that even if you don't know how to pick up a calculator, you'll be calculating deals. And if you love the numbers, it shows you some insights that will blow your mind that you never even realized before, even if you know how to use the calculator. Now this sells for $397, okay? Then I mentioned that I have an academy, my 4-day event. I'm also including my 2017 media set, and that is the 4 days of instruction on video, audio, and a downloadable class manual. And that retails for $997. So you'll also get on video and digital, you'll get the 4-day academy. And then you get all my online forms and documents. My checklist. I am huge on checklists. This is why my nephew was able to do the deal on his own, because I have a checklist for everything that I do. And it's everything you need to do your note deals, both performing and non-performing. I updated it recently for 2019, and that, my friends, is priceless. You will not find those checklists and these legal documents anywhere, because I have literally done over 1,000 note deals, and I'm constantly changing. If I put this in, and if I do that. And so you get the benefit of all my experience in these forms and documents. So to recap, you're going to get my 5 vital home study courses, and you can get that for only 2 payments of $748.50. Oh, but there's more. I feel that slicer, dicer. Anyway, I mentioned my coaching. Along with the Master Guide, you're going to get 6 months of my Easy as 1, 2, 3 coaching. You find the deal, collect the information, and email it to me. From that point on, I walk you through the deal. I prepare all the documents, we use my investors, we split the profit 50-50. I have sold that in the past for $4,995. I am including 6 months of that free with the materials. And let me tell you, that is what is majorly priceless. Because if I had not had that attorney to ultimately show me how to do deals, I wouldn't be standing up here today. I understand. I remember the first phone call I ever made, sitting in his conference room, and he's listening and telling me what to do. I was scared to death, and I thank God that he was there, that he could tell me what to say. And I want to be there for you and help you know how to do these note deals. Because if I can get you to do one deal, you'll be just like me, and you won't stop. So we're going to add the 6 months of coaching. So you can do that for 2 payments of $748.50, or you can save an extra $200 if you do 1 payment of $1279. Okay? How many people would be interested in this if you could get it free? Would you be interested? Okay? So I have a deal for you. This is put your money where your mouth is. Okay? For the first 4 people, you know what? I need to make that more. I'll say the first 6 people. If you close a deal with me within 1 year of doing the notes, I will give you back the $1297 that you pay. So if you are serious that you're going to go do this, because those are the people I want to work with, the serious people. And it does you no good to buy this and sit it on a shelf and never do anything. And it's a funny thing. I can tell you you're going to make $10,000 in your first deal. That doesn't get people motivated. But if I tell you I'm going to give you back $1297, they do it. I'm telling you, that's really the truth. I don't care if it works, it works. I just want you to close the deal. Okay, so I'm going to offer you a rebate tonight, okay? Give me 5 more minutes. I do want to tell you about my academy. It's my 4-day live event. It's coming up next month. And this is really, really a special deal for you. My 4-day event is unlike any boot camp you have ever been to. It is not your typical boot camp. It is an experience. It is so good that people come back 4, 5, 6 times. I have people that just come every year. I teach all aspects of note buying in those 4 days. I teach you how to flip the notes, performing notes. I teach you the non-performing notes. I teach you how to create them. We do all kinds of creative structuring, like wrapping deals and how to buy the partials, all of that. And I cover it in detail. And what happens is, by the time that you have experienced this for 4 days, on Monday, you feel like you're a pro, like you've been living this for 4 days. And it's not just the instruction. Here's some pictures of last year's. And one of the things that I do is your tuition includes all your food, okay? We have continental breakfast in the morning in the room. And this is held at the Radisson in Covington, Kentucky. It's an iconic hotel with a revolving restaurant. And we go upstairs and they have wonderful buffet lunches and dinners. I mean, really nice food. That's the only complaint. Everybody says they gained 10 pounds in 4 days. But that's your problem, not mine. But anyway, so you can see this is on the riverboat cruise. So then on Saturday night, I take you on a riverboat cruise. And it's neat to get away after 3 days of being in the classroom. And we go out on the river and we get a nice surf and turf dinner. We go up the river an hour and a half and then back down. And by the time we get back, it's like all the skylight and everything is Cincinnati. It's just beautiful and awesome. And it's really neat that not only is it the education that you get, but it's networking with everybody that's there. I mean, there are people that have made lasting relationships. And like maybe you might know people who buy mobile home paper, and you might know people who want commercial notes, and you just start working together, and you meet investors, and you just make all kinds of really valuable contacts. And so it really, truly is an experience. And if you are thinking about incorporating notes into what you're doing right now, then for this to be next month, and when you see the deal that I'm going to give you, I'm telling you, if you have any interest in notes, really try to clear your schedule and make it, because this is a great opportunity for you. The registration for the 4 days, just on its own, is $2,497. And then it's $600 for your spouse or partner, and that's mainly to cover the food. It cost me over $500 a person for the food and the cruise. So here's my deal for you. If you purchase the Note Buyer's Master Guide that I just said before, okay, and that's for either 2 payments of the $748.50 or 1 payment of $1297. Okay, do that. You get the rebate, so you can still bring me a deal within a year, and I give you back your $1297. Along with that, I will give you 30 days to decide if you like it, and if you want to learn notes, and to clear your schedule, get your okay from your boss and your spouse and stuff. And you can upgrade to the 4-day live event for only $1997. That's $500 off my regular price, okay? And that's $1997 plus $600 for your spouse. So you're going to save $500. So to recap, if you just want the Master Guide to start with, it's 2 payments of $748.50 or 1 payment of $1297. The upgrade is when you buy the Master Guide, I will give you 30 days to add the Academy for only $1997 plus $600 for your partner. Remember, that includes all your meals. You have to pay for your hotel room, but that's a huge savings on your meals, and that's good for 30 days from tonight, okay? So you're going to get both of those for just $3,294, okay? And that's by starting out with the Master Guide tonight and then having 30 days to upgrade. Now, I know there are some people in here that already know this is for them. And if that is you, and you want to do everything tonight, then your best deal, I'll give you another $300 off. You can get the whole kit and caboodle for $2,994. So if you know that you want to do this, go ahead and sign up for both of them. That's going to be your best buy altogether. I'll leave that up so that everybody can get it. You know, I don't know what your personal situation is, but if money can fix it, your prayers have been answered tonight. Because honestly, I don't know. This is not just something I put up on here as a marketing thing. For real. I've done all kinds of real estate. You name it, I've done it. I do not know of a faster, easier, safer way for you to build wealth than with notes. And the thing is, so for me, what I realize is you've got to reach your turning point. You've got to reach the time when you go, you know what, I'm tired of trying everything and it doesn't work. And my turning point was I was babysitting for these little kids all day, and I asked my husband for $5 to go to the grocery. And he wanted me to account for how I was going to spend $5. And I accounted. And then I walked outside and I slammed the kitchen door, and I turned around and I yelled, I deserve better than this, and our kids deserve better than this, and if you won't make the money, I will. He didn't hear me. But you know what? The person that was supposed to hear me did, and that I wasn't talking to him. I was giving myself a talking to. And I thank God for that man today, because if he had not humiliated me like that and made me feel like a total failure and lowlife, I'd still be babysitting for $1 an hour. But because he did that to me, it made me mad enough that I said, I've had enough. And it was just a few months later that I closed that first deal, and I haven't stopped since. So if you are in that position where you are tired of where you're at in life right now, and if money can fix it, then please meet me back in the back and let me help you to totally change your financial future. I'm here for you. Robert knows I stand with my people. This is not a buy this and good luck. I am fully committed to helping you. That's why I do the coaching. I love working with each person, and I love seeing you be successful. That's what drives me. So if you want to get started with me, meet me back in the back, okay? Anybody who has questions, once I take care of everybody, happy to meet you out in the lobby, and I'll sit here all night and answer questions if you want, okay? Thank you guys for sticking around.